You never realize how loud a school really is until it goes silent. Every morning the halls of St. Augustine High were the same. Blaring voices, slamming lockers, the squeak of new shoes on old tiles. But at 7:45 a.m. on a Thursday, when Ethan arrived an hour early for detention, the school looked like it had been emptied in a hurry. No teachers, no students. Just a single corridor stretching into the kind of darkness that seemed to swallow the light. He hated this corridor. Everyone did. It was Block C, the oldest wing of the school, built long before the rest of the campus. Rumor said it used to be a boarding facility before half of it burned down. Most ghosts, of course, are exaggerations, but Block C had the kind that didn't feel like stories. Ethan stepped inside, the echo of his footsteps returning a second too late, like something else was walking with him. He tried laughing it off. The school was old. Old buildings made old sounds, right? Then something moved. At the far end of the corridor, a locker door creaked open slowly. Ethan froze. He waited for the metal clang, but it didn't slam shut. It just stayed open. He swallowed hard and kept walking toward the detention room, counting each step like a prayer. 28, 29, 30. A faint whisper drifted behind him. "Ethan!" He spun around. Nothing. The corridor stretched empty, the locker still hanging open. "Just my imagination," he muttered, though his voice trembled. When he reached room C11, he noticed something off. The door was open a crack. Lights inside flickering like someone was walking past the tube lights over and over. He pushed the door slowly. The classroom was empty, except for the last row of desks, where a single file lay open on the chair. His file. The school disciplinary record he submitted yesterday. Except something was written inside it now. Something in red ink he definitely did not write. "You shouldn't have come back." Ethan's heart kicked his ribs. He backed away until something metallic clattered behind him. Another locker door had opened. Then another, then another. A slow, synchronized creaking, like someone or something was sliding fingers across the entire row of lockers. Ethan didn't wait this time. He turned and bolted down the corridor. The hall stretched longer than he remembered, as if the end was shrinking away with every step. Shadows on the walls bent unnaturally, stretching toward him like reaching arms. Halfway through, he stopped, because someone was standing at the far end. A girl. She wore the older version of the school uniform, pleated skirt, faded sweater, something from at least 20 years ago. Her hair fell over her face, and one of her ankles was bent at a wrong angle, like she had jumped and landed badly. Too badly. "Ethan," she whispered again. "You came back." "I don't know you," Ethan said, though his voice was barely a breath. "You do." She tilted her head, the bone in her neck cracking loudly. "You knew me before you forgot." Ethan stumbled back. His memories scrambled. He had heard the story. Everyone had. 20 years ago, a girl had jumped from the roof of Block C. Some said she was bullied. Others said she went mad. But the oldest students whispered something else. She never left the corridor. The girl limped toward him, dragging her foot with a soft, grinding sound. "You promised," she said. "I promised nothing." Ethan shouted, though fear bent his voice into a sharp whisper. You did. She lifted her face. You promised you wouldn't run again. Her face was wrong. Not bloody, not wounded, just wrong. Like a face drawn by someone who'd only seen humans from memory. The eyes were too wide, the smile too deep, stretching almost to her ears. Ethan backed into a locker. Instantly it slammed shut on its own, loud enough to shatter the silence. He turned and ran the other way, toward the stairwell, toward anything that wasn't this corridor. The lights flickered faster now, buzzing like angry insects. His shadow multiplied on the walls, twisting and bending out of sync. The girl's footsteps followed, soft, dragging, unbelievably fast. He burst out of Block C and down the main hallway, finally seeing the front gate, open sunlight pouring through. He sprinted toward it. But before he could step outside, a hand grabbed his shoulder. He screamed and whirled around. It was the security guard. "For God's sake, boy, what are you doing here?" the guard barked. "No one enters Block C before 8. You know that." Ethan's chest heaved. There's someone inside. A girl." The guard's face drained of color. He slowly loosened his grip. "Ethan, Block C has been sealed since the accident." "What accident?" "The fire. 30 students died, including one girl, the one who jumped before the flames spread. You should know this. You were here that day." Ethan blinked. A headache stabbed behind his eyes. I transferred here 2 years ago." The guard shook his head. Son, you were found inside that wing 3 years ago, alone, unconscious. You were in therapy for months. You don't remember?" Ethan staggered back. His breath hitched. Voices echoed behind him. Lockers slamming shut in sequence, one by one, closer. The guard's eyes widened. Hearing it too, he whispered, "Run." Ethan didn't need to be told twice. He sprinted through the gate, not stopping until he reached the street. When he finally turned back, the school looked normal again. Silent. Still. But in the far window of Block C, someone was watching him. Long hair, tilted neck, too wide smile. She lifted her hand and traced something on the glass. "Come back." Ethan did not return to school the next day or the next month. But some nights, when the world is quiet and the shadows stretch too long, he hears lockers opening, one by one, closer, and a voice whispering from the dark, "Ethan, we weren't done."